All right, let's get started. You are the easiest person to lie to, but you're the hardest to fool. The easiest person to lie to, but you're the hardest to fool. What are we talking about? Accountability. The ability to hold yourself responsible for your actions and your behaviors. What we're not going to get into are the logistics of it and the statistics of it and all that cute stuff. Well, we're going to talk about real life situations, like relationships and a lack of accountability in relationships. And how you're in a relationship and you want to look at the man or you want to look at the woman and say, I don't like them and I don't like her and I don't like how she's treating me and I don't like he's treating me. Only to figure out, maybe I've been through this about 6 or 7 times and I always seem to end up in this same situation, this same conversation, this same breakup situation. And what you might want to do is blame everybody else except yourself. Instead of saying, I'm probably in the same situation because I'm not accepting the accountability of who I am. And maybe me being stubborn or a little spoiled might be adding to the situation, might be adding to the breakups. Maybe because I'm a stubborn man and I'm a little too bossy, might be the reason behind the situation. Might be the reason behind the breakup. We as men especially, and I'm speaking from my point of view, of course, being a man, is what we tend to do in our younger ages is we'll find a woman, we'll take little bits and pieces of her, and we take what we want, and we take what makes us happy and what makes us feel good as a man. We grow up in a sexist society. We grow up like that as men. So we tend to want to feel more manly. And as we come up as younger men, the more women or situations that you have, the more of a man you're considered. It's not until you get older until you realize that's nonsense. That's where the direction comes in. That's the direction I wish I had. That's what I'm trying to give my sons. That's the direction a lot of young men are coming up with, is the more the merrier. Not realizing that you're taking bits and pieces of these women and you're breaking them little by little. You're taking their essentials and what they hold dear to them. And then you get older and we want to find a woman that's all together. Well, we have damaged enough women that it might be relatively hard to find that woman that you're looking for sometimes. Even us men have been damaged by women, and we might find it hard to find, a woman might find it hard to find that man that she's looking for. I mean, you can go from everything from our environment to growing up in certain societies and incarceration and crime and all these things that screws us up as men, especially black men. What it comes down to is we all have this wall up. We put a wall of protection up to not be hurt anymore, to not be damaged anymore. And in doing that, we want to find fault in so many things outside of us. Now, if we're a damaged person, we need to figure out how to fix that. And if we don't fix that, if we don't hold ourselves accountable for who we are, for whatever may have damaged us, regardless, you have a person in front of you, whether it be a relationship with the man or woman that you're in, your children, your family, you're at work, regardless of the situation that you're in, we want to protect ourselves. So we have this wall up. We don't want to be damaged. We don't want to be hurt. So we're going to protect ourselves. And when something goes wrong, what we want to do is point to the next person. It's your fault. It's not my fault. I'm good over here. First thing we got to realize is you're hurting someone in a relationship. You're not accepting your fault. You're not even apologizing. And you wonder sometimes why you're continuously in this same situation. You don't apologize when you do something wrong. So that person has to look at you as if you don't care. I use the analogy, if you go through a door and there's someone behind you and you don't see that person behind you, but you walk through and the door slams on the person and they're carrying their briefcase and papers go everywhere. And now imagine looking back at that person on the ground that you just slammed. Now you didn't see the person, but you look at them on the ground and you're like, damn, bro, should have said something. And then you walk away. And the guy's like, what an ass. Like, he doesn't see me laying here. I got a bloody nose from the door slamming into me. My papers he even helped me up. Now, it's not my fault. Should have said something. Now, what you did, it was a mistake. You didn't slam a door on that person on purpose, but you saw him on the floor. You could have shown compassion. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Let me help you up. Show some compassion. So when you don't apologize, what you're doing is you made a mistake. You slammed the door on the person that you're with, the relationship that you're in, and you left them on the floor. You didn't show any compassion. They're on the floor. You didn't do it on purpose, but you didn't even acknowledge how they feel from the mistake that you made. You slammed the door in their face mistakenly. You see them on the floor. You apologize. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I didn't know I came off like that. But what we do when we don't want to be accountable is, oh, well, you know how I am. You know I am, babe. I'm a little spoiled. I'm a little stubborn. You know how I am. I'm sorry, but this is you knew who you got with. This is what it is. That whole theory that you gotta accept what's in front of you. No, you don't. There's a level of frustration that'll continue to grow from stuff like that. And before you know it, you don't want to be home no more. You don't want to be around that person anymore. Because that person can't be accountable and understand that you have feelings just as they do. So instead of feeling insulted, instead of feeling, what's the word? Not unworthy, and you don't feel necessary. You feel taken for granted. Who wants to feel like that continuously? Who wants to deal with that? Nobody should. Nobody does. So in our protection, the person on the other side, we're protecting ourselves just as you are. You don't want to be accountable for your actions. We got to protect ourselves too. So now you don't want to admit fault, and I don't want to be around a person that doesn't want to admit fault. So now I'm out and you're out. And we're separated because we no longer enjoy the company, because you feel insulted and you don't feel like you're a team anymore. That's where the accountability hurts. Now, if I use myself as an example, when I started noticing that I was doing these things, and we come up as men, my mother, single black woman, strong black woman, grown up in the projects, great mom, wouldn't trade her for the world. Dad wasn't around. So my mom dated. There were a couple guys here or there, of course. But I never really saw anybody love my mother the way an 80s sitcom would. The Cosby Show or something like that. I wanted that type of love. I wanted someone to look at my mother the same way I looked at her. I wanted to feel as if she was in good hands. So not being able to see that, I had to kind of figure that out and kind of wonder, how do you make a woman feel like that? What do I need to do as a man to make a woman feel worthy? Well, the first thing I had to do was understand who I was as a man and understand why I may have been doing certain things and serial dating and hypersexuality and all that stuff that comes with being a man. Why was I doing that? Was it because I didn't see anybody love my mother the way I would like to see my mother loved? Was it because my father wasn't there to have that conversation? And I always say your father can tell you what it takes to be a man. Your mother will show you how to do it. I needed both. What I had was my mother trying to raise me as a man on her own. So what I found myself doing was looking outside for other examples, and I would see this person with all these chicks and this person with all these chicks. Well, I want all these chicks. I want to do that too. I want to be fresh and I want to get girls, and so as you get older, that becomes secondary. That becomes your life. And for me, it was getting a girlfriend and liking a girl and figuring out, well, if you want to be with this woman, you got to get yourself right. You got to be accountable for what you're doing, for what you might do, for what you have done that may have hurt this woman. You got to get yourself right, bro. So believe it or not, I went to therapy. And I went to therapy because I ran into a person that I liked enough that I wanted to understand what made me. Because if I don't understand what made me, I'm going to do it again. And it won't stop. I have to understand why I'm doing it. Don't just apologize for it. Explain it. Why am I doing what I'm doing? So sitting with the therapist, my sessions were an hour, and I'm talking, and the hours seem like 5 minutes, because you get into this conversation and you start pulling out all of this deep, dark, recessed hurt that made you into the person that you were. You think you can handle it. We're taught to believe as men, I got this. I got it. I don't need nothing from nobody. I got this. Give me. I got it. I'll take care of it. And we hold in all this anger, and it builds up, and our blood pressure and everything goes through the roof, and we want to fight everybody. And it's just all of this testosterone. It's just, and we don't know why. I don't know why I'm angry. I don't know why I have to please myself with something as simple as getting this girl and that girl and clothes and money and all these other things. You don't realize, why is that important? Well, you're covering for something. And as soon as you figure out exactly what it is, all that stuff becomes irrelevant and it becomes passé. So me sitting there with my therapist, I couldn't wait for my next session because I wanted to talk more. There were so many things that no one had tapped into me as a person. And I was finally able to speak without fear, without judgment, in front of this person. So what it allowed me to do was answer the tough questions. And by answering the tough questions, I started holding myself accountable for so many things in my life. Regardless of what the person did, I had a friend once tell me, don't worry about what they did. What did you do? Well, they did blah, blah, blah. That's why. Doesn't matter. Could you have handled it differently? No. You could have left the situation. You could have did this. You could have did that. There's a bunch of things you could have done. Did you make it worse? Think about it. Did you accept what you did? Regardless, did you accept your reaction from what they did? Regardless, that's what you got to think So if you start to accept accountability for what you did, then you got to look at the other person. And as soon as you say sorry and I screwed up and all these other things, and you kind of come together as a unit, and now you're partners. Now you're a team. We both have an understanding. That's what you hope for. It's not going to happen all the time. Because now, as much as you've accepted your accountability and understand that you can hurt, you can maim, you can destroy, you can damage. If you understand that, that's going to help your relationship with everybody. I have no problem apologizing. I have no problem telling someone, I love you. If I love you, I can easily say it. I don't want to hate. I don't want to dislike. That's an energy thing. If I'm getting that energy from you, you gotta go. That's something I learned too. Keep my plate clean. If it's not for me, let it go. Accountability is understanding what's put in front of you. And understand that if I do blah, 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 there's no one to blame but myself. If I hurt this person, I have to acknowledge this person, that I understand how you feel. I'm sorry. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm sorry. I want you to understand why I said or did or moved differently for you to feel hurt or to feel disrespected or to feel unnecessary. Sorry doesn't cut it. I need to understand why something was done. Because if I don't understand why, it's behavior. Because it's going to be done continuously. If I understand why and I fix it, what happened was a mistake. Mistakes can be fixed. But if I'm continuously doing things over and over and over again, and I'm saying sorry over and over and over again, that's behavior. That's me not accepting my accountability for what I just did. So as much as we can go into the 4 steps of accepting accountability and all these things, I'm just giving it to you raw. I'm telling you what it is. Cut the shit. It's on you. If you look at the relationships that you've been through over the years and you look at this one is going by the wayside and this one is going by the wayside and this one's going by the wayside, at some point you got to look and say, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me not choosing myself. I'm choosing the wrong people. I'm choosing them to save me from myself. And there's a woman out there saying, all I need is a good man and I'll be fine. And there's a guy that's saying, all I need is a good woman and I'll be fine. Why can't you be fine by yourself? When you're fine by yourself and you have that it is what it is attitude, that's undefeated. No one can get through to a person who fully understands who they are, their attributes and their weaknesses. The person who understands exactly who they are, the hardest person for you to get over. Because if I have a low self-esteem for whatever reason, you can whisper and tell me all these good things to make me feel better, and you might be able to fool me. But if I'm sure of myself and I know exactly who I am, there's nothing you can do. So the only person that I will allow in my life is someone that understands I'm not going to go for the nonsense. And when you have someone in your life that understands, in order for me to step into this man's way, into his life, I have to be upfront and just as honest as he is. I have to have the ability to be held accountable and hold myself accountable as he has. I need to accept the challenge that's going to be presented before me. Accountability is the beginning to a whole new life. Me going to therapy, blank slate. It gave me a whiteboard. I answered every question that I never wanted to. Everything from family to education to relationships to religion to government to so many things that I don't want to think about it. I'll just go with the flow. And meanwhile, you know deep down something's wrong. Something needs to be addressed because you're still doing the same shit. Something needs to be talked about. But if you don't answer it, if you don't hold yourself accountable, it's going to continue. It doesn't stop. When you hold yourself accountable and you understand exactly who you are, all that bullshit that was presented before you earlier ceases. Stops. Because you won't allow it. You're accountable for you and yourself. You won't expect anything less from anyone else. It's that simple. It's a strength that many of us may die without ever experiencing. It's a freedom. You ever hear that song, En Vogue? Free your mind and the rest will follow. As soon as you're accountable and hold yourself and honest with yourself, the rest, it's all downhill from there. And it's easy. Not downhill in a bad way, just no more uphill battles, no more obstacles. It's free flowing. It's just right on down. Soon as you free your mind. But as long as you sit and you want to blame everybody else, you're going to stay right where you are. Because it's so easy to lie to yourself. But you are absolutely the hardest person to fool. Hold yourself accountable. Salute.